Welcome to this video of the series of the SignIn demo. Now, let's continue with the styling of our username and password. So first, let's say that the logo's positions are not alright. So first, let's go to this logo above the username logo, and I did it, so I added a layout gravity which is centered. So what does that mean? First, if you look at the logo itself, it is a bit above the username. So if we make it centered, it will appear in the center of the layout. So in order to do that, we can get to the image view and give it a layout gravity, which is the center. Now we see the two elements are aligned, and if we go also, we do the same with this element, which is the image view containing the password logo. So let's make it centered. Great. Now what we want also to do is, additionally, we want to remove these black lines. So these usually come with input text. So what we can do is we can go and give a certain background color to the whole username field. So let's add here in the edit text itself, let's add an attribute. So let's add background here, and the background color, let's give it a color as an example. Let's give it a gray. So now as we see, the background will be gray. Now what we want to do is we want to give it a transparent background color in order to make the black line disappear. So what we do is we give it this color, which is the 000, which is the hexadecimal of transparent color. Now if we give it this color, it would be black, but if we add a 0 or 2, it would be transparent. So this is the transparent color. Now also with this color, let's add it to the color list of colors. So let's say that this is the transparent color, or color transparent, which is the 008 times color. Now let's go back to our layout file, which is activity_main, and the background color here will be the color transparent. Now we see that the black line disappeared, and we can do the same here with this text. So background color transparent also. Now they have a transparent color, or the black lines disappeared. Now what we want additionally to do, let's actually give back the placeholders a white color. I think that would be better. So text color hint would be also white here, and below, which is here. So text color hint will be white. Okay, let's remove unnecessary spaces to make things look better. It's not necessary, but it's for the sake of being organized, having an organized code. Great. Now, if we go back to our original page, we can see that the design is like we have a more spaced design. So first let's add the padding here in the layout itself, in the linear layout itself. So the padding here, let's give it a padding of 50 pixels from left and 50 pixels from the right. Also, let's make these icons smaller, a bit smaller. So 20 by 20 for the username logo, and also 20 by 20 for the password logo. Now let's give some spacing between the username itself and the logo. So what we can do is we come to the username and we add some margin from the left. Let's give it around 15 dp. That looks better. And the same for password. Let's add some margin to the password, which is margin left, 15 dp. Great. Now let's also space the username and logo and username logo. Let's give them a space a bit above the password and the password logo. So what we can do here is, with the linear layouts themselves, we can space them. So let's give some margin to this linear layout. So margin top, let's say equal 15 dp. Now this looks better. Let's actually add some spacing here. Let's make the 25 dp. Let's make it here. The margin of the original linear or of the parent linear layout, let's make it around 75 dp. That looks way better. Okay. Now what we need also to do is, let's run our application now. So we can see a username here and the password here. Now if we write the username, that would be some alphanumeric characters, but with the password we want to make them invisible. So we need to go and to the password text, which is here, and give it some other attribute, which is input type equal text. I think it's text password. Okay, and let's make sure that the username also has a text type. So the username input type is text. Now if we run our application, we will see that the username, it's a text, but the password here, as we see, it will be invisible. First we can see the character, but then it will be invisible, which is how passwords usually appear. Okay, great. So let's go back here now, and what else we need to do with this? It looks good now. Let's also add some styling, some more styling. And what we need to do is let's add some lines between or lines after. So let's add a line here and a line here, but these lines do not only cover the username or the password text, they also cover all the line, including the image and the text themselves. Now in order to do that, let's go to this linear layout, which is the linear layout containing the username and the username logo. As we see here, we have two linear layouts. This one, it is highlighted in blue lines here, and this one. So the first is for username and the second is for password. And these two linear layouts here, actually we can collapse our code. So these two linear layouts are themselves inside a big linear layout, which is this one. Great. So let's add some lines, some styling. So let's add a linear, and I want to add something here in these two linear layouts, that by default these layouts are horizontal. So usually linear layouts are horizontal by default. So if we don't write the orientation of the layout, it will be by default horizontal. Okay, so this is horizontal, or we can just write it to keep things clear. So also let's write it here. It is not necessary, as I said, but in order to keep things clear and in order to keep our code as much understood and clear as possible. So also we add the orientation tag here, and let's add horizontal. Now again, so let's add a line. Let's add lines after the layouts. So the first, these lines will actually also be linear layouts. So linear layout, the width is match parent, which is the width of the layout itself, and the height is wrap content, and let's give some background color to this layout, which is background color. Let's give it the gray color here as we have it, and let's give, actually the height should be something 1 or 2 pixels, because now the linear layout doesn't contain anything. So wrap content will take the height of the children, which is 0. So that's why we don't see anything here. So again, so let's add one more thing, which is the height. So let's give it a height of 2 dp. Now as we see, we have a separator line. It's a bit thick. Let's give it 1 dp, which looks better, actually, which looks better. And let's do the same below the second linear layout, which is the linear layout of the password. Let's also add the linear layout here. So again, the width is match parent and the height is 1 dp, 1 dp, and the background color would be gray. Well, this looks better now, but let's go back to the original design, and see what is different. Actually, this is a bit, so it's a bit different, it's more relaxed. Let's also give a space, let's give more space. So let's give space between the line itself and the username and password layout. So let's add some space here. So let's add some margin from the top, 5 dp, let's say. Well, 10 dp or 12 dp is better. That looks better, and the same for the line below. So margin top is 12 dp. Now let's also give more space here for the password. So let's give it around 35 dp. That looks way better. Now let's try to make the thickness smaller of these two lines. So let's make it 0.7 or 0.6. I think this looks better. Well, this looks better. 0.2 also here. So this one, so this one here 0.2 dp, and this one here should be also 0.2 dp. That's cool. That is cool. Okay. Now the question is, why these 4 elements appear each one below the other? Because this linear layout, which is the parent linear layout, has a vertical orientation. So whatever we add here, it would appear below the previous element. So let's say we copy and pasted this and add it here. We will have an additional line, an additional line, an additional line, and these all are below each other, as we see here. Okay, so let's go back to our original design. Let's run our application now. So that looks good. And I will see you in the next video.